The crypto markets are balancing on a knife edge right now, with the battle cry to buy the dip resounding across the Bitcoin battlefield. Below us looms the dark, murky, depressing depths of 8,000, nay, 6,000. And above us lie the glorious, glorious plains of that all-time high. But, even the most ardent Bitcoin bulls are starting to turn tail as the haunting ghost of the 2008 bear market whispers into our ear. And it's saying, did you take profit this time? You said you were going to sell at the top. After what happened last time, we're going to find out if that specter is friend or foe in today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Welcome to Breaking Bitcoin, recorded live for you here in the studio. You know what I just realized? The lighting isn't on. That's why it's so dark. Let's turn the lights on, guys. Let's turn the lights on. We're going to start off with a fantastic show. And it's so dark you can't even see me. Hey, guys. All right. Is that better? Yeah. All right. Okay. It is Friday, August 16th, 2019. Foul year of our Lord, your daily source for market updates, sentiment, and news for traders. I'm your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and perpetual non-turner on of lights at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from, and whether you're watching us from across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, or on Roku at the Investor News channel. Also Facebook. I think we're on Facebook too. Last time I checked. Yes, absolutely we are. Shout out to all of you guys. Hopefully you're doing fantastic. If you want to support the show, make sure to subscribe, follow, share, and engage in the live chat. And it was 95, guys. You did so good yesterday, 95. But the like goal is 100. Let's try and get those likes up to 100 on today's video. Today's episode of Breaking Bitcoin is brought to you by us. If you are an aspiring trader or an experienced trader looking to sharpen your skills and you would like to work with a team that has a proven track record and who deal in the realm of probability, statistics, and verifiable edge, head over to premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com to see what the Premium Trading Group can do for you, exclusive setups and trade signals, the Pathways to Profit strategy building course, proprietary indicators, spreadsheets, and tools, as well as educational material and our database library. Come join us over at crackingcryptocurrency.com. Link is in the description down below. Okay, Premium Trading Group updates. I did publish 2 new videos in the Pathways to Profit course. I'm actually working on 2 more right now. I'm working on the new video for Module 3, which is going to cover backtesting confirmers programmatically in Pine Strategy Tester. I'm going to teach individuals how to write a simple strategy tester to optimize their confirmer parameters over our manual testing. And again, we talk at length in the course about the benefit of manual testing, but how we can use our programmatic testing to really speed up that process, because we just have so many options ahead of us. Anything that we can do to speed up that process is going to make things good. In the more advanced video, I'm going to talk and I'm going to teach how to write a more advanced beast script, a pretty beefy strategy tester to program several confirmers in a plethora of indicators and quickly test them and their permutations against one another for optimum signal filtering. Okay, guys, we're going to check in on the EOS Trading Competition. Our team is still doing quite well. And we're also going to start off today's video, as we always do, by giving away some cryptocurrency, as we do every single day on this YouTube channel. And I want to thank yesterday's crypto comment giveaway winner, which was Ken D. My good friend, thank you so much for your support and your participation. We're going to get right into it, guys. I want to thank this month's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, X42 Protocol. Make sure to go check them out at x42.tech. Video gets me every time, man. Video gets me every time. Hopefully you guys like the music. I am catering to the rock and roll crowd today. Obviously, you guys know I'm a big fan of both EDM. I'm also a big fan of rock. I'm also a big fan of metal. My background and my roots come from metal. I play guitar. I've played in multiple bands. I enjoy doing that. I really enjoy the music. I got some nice instrumental grooves. Most of it's pretty good. Some of it might not be. Hopefully you guys like it. Let me know in the comments section or in the chat. I guess we're going to figure out. But I got so many requests. Play rock. It's not. Can we get something besides EDM once in a while? So I got you guys. I do listen. I got you guys. So we're going to great job on the comments yesterday too, by the way, guys. 32 comments. So we've got quite a few people who could win today. I responded to all of you except for the ones who just piled in right before the beginning of the show. That's totally fine, but I see you. All right, let's randomly pick a winner, man. GBU Professor Wally, man, coming through with the big support, coming through with the win once again. He says, of course you like Neo. It's awesome. Signed, Big Neo Bag Holder. Congratulations, my good friend. Make sure to get a hold of me in the Discord. You know me, the one, the only the one, the only Professor Wally. My bad, man. And I will tip you some crypto, as I have done multiple times. I think you'll like this one quite well, guys. So let's get right over into the live scene with some Bitcoin analysis. Okay. Make some adjustments coming off of Forex. Make sure that we're good to go here. Yes. Let's also bring static back. Yeah, that looks quite good. All right, we are good to go. We're on the 2-hour chart. Let's go over to the daily chart right now. Pretty good volatility coming in from Bitcoin right now. Let me scroll down to my thing. Not fair. 24-hour clock. Not fair. Yes, I am wearing pants. I am wearing pants. Not a daily occurrence. Yes, it's a daily occurrence. That's one of the first things it's not one of the first things I learned, but if you feel, you gotta wake up every morning early, take that shower, make your bed, hopefully exercise. Most of you guys, if you just, even if it's one push-up, right? The choice that you make starting off your day is very empowering. That's why I make my bed every single morning. It's a small thing. It's a very small thing, but just getting up and making my bed takes a minute, literally a minute. Generally, it's like, I'm not going to lie. I'm not like, I don't do the whole tuck down, right? I'm usually just like, but at least it looks nice. And that psychologically tells me that I am in control, that I am in control of my day, that I am in control of my actions, that I make my environment respond to me, that I do not respond to my environment, that I am in control. And I think that's very empowering. And then I go work out. But even on days when I don't want to work out, I make myself just do one push-up, one pull-up, one curl, one sit-up. Doesn't matter if it's just one, because just doing one programs that habit into your head and lets you know, as I said, that you are in control of what you do, that your environment responds to you, and that you have the power to shape your future. And I think that all starts with the decisions that you make in the morning. That might sound silly, but it works, and it works for me quite well. So, and then again, if you get into that habit of just doing one push-up every morning, and you go hop in the shower, you're good to go. So you got to look good. You got to feel good. If you feel good about yourself, the way that you dress, the way that you present yourself to the world, it says a lot about how you feel about yourself. So I know, it's totally fine. I sweatpants it up sometimes, but if you look good, you feel good, and other people see that, and your life just generally gets better. So anyways, let's slide down here in the comment section. Make the bed so the cat can be comfy. Sprocket. Good man. Good. It's good to stay disciplined with that bong water, man. Anyways, coming in on the daily, we got some interesting. Okay, so good volatility. We're going to see this especially on the 2-hour chart. 2-hour chart looks very ping-pongy, right? A lot of consolidation at the bottom. The buy the dip herald is very, very strong. And obviously, we've got fantastic news coming in about BAKKT this morning. Let's actually collapse this window right here because I just want to spend some time talking about the daily. So let's look at the technicals. So let's save the fundamentals for the second part of the show. Let's just talk about the technicals. Let's talk about where I'm at with my position, and then we'll talk about Bitcoin's price. So Bitcoin obviously sitting at 10,500. It's still significantly lower than our entry into our Bitcoin short. And again, Fantastic on our Bitcoin shorts. The 12-hour fully completed. The daily time frame hitting 2 of 3 take profit. Stop loss is now at break even. We would be exiting upon any confirmed exit signal or price hitting back, coming back to our break even price. That's how we do things. So I'm not a dip buyer. I don't buy price when it's low. That's not how I trade cryptocurrency. That's just not how we do things around here. Why? Because it has a lower probability of success when you try to trade reversals as opposed to just trading the dominant trend. And for some reason, my live split stopped working. Well, shucks. You know, I've tried like 19 times to do the live split thing. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So Scott, thank God I got you, man. It's a good opportunity to say thank you so much, Priz Ventures. I missed it yesterday. I've got it up. I've got it fixed. Thank you so much for cheering the 103 bits yesterday. Thank you, my friend. And Jaron, Serban, and the Sanctity is finest. Thank you so much for the subs over on YouTube, guys. Highly appreciate the support. Ponzi scheme, nah. Anyways, coming in on Bitcoin's price. So 2 very long tails to the downside, really indicating, you know, what this really indicates to me is as individuals are buying the dip. And I talked about this a little bit yesterday, and we'll see this a little bit clearer on the LTFs. As individuals are trying to buy the dip and fill up their Bitcoin positions, individuals that kind of miss the opportunity to buy at a lower price, every time, you know, price dips down lower, you're going to have that buy wall step in and individuals try to support price. What these long tails indicate to me, though, is that just as individuals reach that nice level of resistance, they get really sold onto, and they're getting sold onto by individuals that are trying to enter into the short position or to get rid of their Bitcoin positions at a good price, because there's a lot of fear. The fear and greed index is quite low. And so there's a lot of fear in the crypto markets right now. As I said at the opener of the show, you know, we've really got this. I mean, if we just zoom out the chart, you can see this, you know, we've had a very nice, good run up. But if we look below, I mean, this is a level of support that's been tapped now. This is going to be our 4th really tap in the vicinity of this, you know, $9,000 area. And really looming below that, a lot that psychologically terrifies a lot of people, you know, of retreating, of giving back a lot of the advances that we've accomplished over this 2019 bull market. And, you know, 2018 was not too long ago. You know, many people sat through that year-long plus bear market, and that really dramatically affected them. 18-month almost long bear market. And those psychological burdens are still with a whole lot of people. That feeling of losing a lot of money for the majority of individuals, of having their positions depressed, of not making money, just really sitting on their hands or being depressed. You know, those feelings can come raging back and racing back quite quickly. And that's why I feel that, you know, as soon as we break that $9,000 support, you know, it's going to be quite a significant avalanche. So I think that right now the individuals that are looking to reposition their shorts do have it right. I think that individuals that are looking to re-enter, as I talked about yesterday, we do have that daily baseline coming in at 10.859 right now, $10,859. That is going to be the reversal baseline bounce opportunity or area to enter. And that's also going to be slightly below our average entry on our original short position in the first place. So good opportunities there. And again, the risk to reward ratio on that is quite low because, or high, depending on how you're determining it. But good, because once price crosses and closes above the baseline, then you know that your trade is invalidated and you're looking for an alternate setup, okay? You have to remember, as a trend-following trader, there are going to be opportunities, there are going to be times in the market where we know the direction that we want to trade, but we have to be disciplined and wait for the good entry. So we throw jabs, right? It's just as I've made this boxing analogy many times. You're throwing a jab, you're throwing a jab, you're throwing a jab, you're looking for an entry. And a lot of those jabs are not going to land, right? A lot of those jabs are just to weaken your opponent and open up a good entry for the right hook, right? And the right hook is when you do manage to get that good position that does go in your favor, because you have your directional bias, you have your indicators that determine to you, that dictate which direction you want to trade. They determine your directional bias. But as far as entry comes for a trend following trader, you're often going to end up throwing quite a significant number of jabs. That's why when I show my trading journal, you know, there's often, you know, if you look at the hit rate, again, there's some months when the trend goes directly in our favor and we have good months. We have a hit rate of 60 to 70%, but there's going to be some months where we have a hit rate closer to 40 or 45%. And that's because of the amount of jabs that need to be thrown. But the nice thing is, and this is something that we teach in the group with the advanced position size calculator and the advanced trading journal, all the tools that we provide to people, is if they are calculating their dollar P&L appropriately, you have to understand ROI on a trade. So measuring where price went to from your entry to your exit does not actually determine, in my opinion, and really realistically, your overall profitability as a trader, right? Because, for example, it's all about position sizing. So if I have $1,000 in a trade and that trade moves 10% against me, right? I've lost $100. Okay, big whoop. You know, and again, I don't want to say big whoop because that's a lot of money to people, and it is. $100 is nothing to sneeze at. But, you know, if that is my adjusted risk position size for that trade, maybe it's an alt to BTC pair, and then I have a $10,000 position size, right, that moves 5%, that moves less of a distance. Well, you can see I've made significantly more money than the loss on my 10% $1,000 position, right? So all of these things are important to take into account. Everybody needs to be measuring their own profitability and their own P&L, even individuals in the group, right? We publish our results. Every result of every trade that we take is published live at currentresults.krakencryptocurrency.com. You can go see all our historical results at results.krakencryptocurrency.com. But every single individual traders, even the ones who are following along with the trades in the group, their P&L is going to be different because they're going to be position sizing differently. Everybody's going to have a different sized account. Everybody is going to be making slightly different decisions as to their risk tolerance. And so it's absolutely critical that we measure our dollar P&L. So when we talk about throwing a jab, the way that that relates to throwing a jab and looking for good entries in a trending market as a trend following trader, we have to realize that, yes, we might take, you know, a nice little batch of small losses getting that optimum entry, right? And the reason we take those is because we want to be disciplined as a trader and we are protecting ourselves. That is what is required to protect ourselves from a big loss, which is the first rule that we establish as a trend following trader is that we do not take big losses. We only allow ourselves to take small losses. Taking the ability to take a big loss off of the table by being disciplined and forcing yourself to take small losses is going to significantly put more dollars in your pocket at the end of the month, at the end of your trading session, at the end of the year, which is all that matters. So we have to realize that. We have to understand that throwing the jab is kind of an integral part. It's an intrinsic part of being a trend following trader. And there's nothing wrong with that because it's absolutely fine. Because when we take losses, we make sure that they're small losses. And as trend following traders, we try to maximize our gains by letting our winners run and using significantly farther targets via ATR or appropriate targets using ATR. All right, Mr. Ether, good to see you, man. Listen faster, guys. Lead right hook for southpaws. Thanks, Brockett. I appreciate that, man. Okay, so anyways. So I definitely think that, you know, regardless of BAKKT, regardless of the news coming out, the indicators determine or dictate right now that the trade is to the downside. So we're having some nice buyback activity. And again, but this is something that I also want to talk about. So this is an overall consolidation period. But we can see, in my opinion, that the trend is to the downside. 3 consecutive lower highs. We've had 1 lower high followed by an equidistant lower high. And now we're having a higher or lower low, excuse me. So 3 consecutive lower highs. 1 lower low, followed by an equidistant low, followed by a higher low. All right, so let's plot those out. We have our initial high here. Here's our market high, right? Here is our next swing high. Here is our next swing high, and we can see that these are all lower highs. We have a low here. We have a lower low. We have an equidistant low. And then we have a higher low. So as I've said many times, many people are going to use the tool of drawing tools and draw triangles out of this. I think triangles are nonsense because when you draw a chart pattern, it is basically trying to impart or imply that there is some statistical likelihood of chart patterns moving in one direction or the other after they resolve. And the cold hard reality is, if you look at all research, actual research, statistical research done on chart patterns, there is absolutely no repeatable, statistical, verifiable method or pattern to the way that any popular chart pattern resolves. Head and shoulders, cup and handles, triangles, ascending, descending, wedges, broadening tops, broadening bottoms, everything you could possibly imagine has no statistical likelihood of moving in the way that individuals think they are going to do. It's a coin flip either way. But what we can notice is overall this meso, I would say meso, consolidation activity after a very long and powerful bull market to the upside, right? So I do think that this is more than likely to resolve to the downside. However, that is my subjective opinion. And at this current moment in time, our indicators are agreeing with us. So let's look at those indicators and get directional bias and directional trade setups. As I said yesterday, and again, keep that in mind. I think that the daily trade, as I've said for a while now, is to the downside. I do see this support level breaking. I do see us going below 9,000. I'm happy to be proven wrong. If we break above the baseline and get bullish indications, I'll be looking to take price long. But as it sits right now, that's where my mind is at. That's where my trades are at. And that's where my money is at. So moving along from that, I said yesterday, I talked about the likelihood that we were going to have intraday or maybe a day or two of bullish appreciation. So a retest and an initial support and buying off the zone. That is now being strengthened by obviously the news coming out that BAKKT has been approved for a September launch. But I don't think that is going to reverse the overall macro trend, right, on the daily time frame, which is to the downside. Now, we can get into the argument is when we get into the weeklies and we get into the monthlies, price does look quite bullish. But with bullishness comes correction and the market oscillates. So I do see us on the daily, which is the time frame to use for determining directional bias for trading purposes. The weekly and the monthly are fine for determining investment decisions. But the daily is where we're going to get the best data for our trading purposes. So I talked yesterday about the likelihood of price having a little bit of appreciation, but again, overall the trade being to the downside. And we have seen that. So there have been setups in the 2-hour chart. I was kind of looking and thinking about establishing an intraday position last night before I went to bed. I didn't end up doing that, and that's fine. To the upside, I didn't end up doing that. That's fine. Give you guys a little bit of intro into my life. I have developed a new strategy tester. I've been working really hard in Pine Editor, and I've got a new script that I've been spending lots and lots of time on. But it has the ability to produce lots of great new trading systems, because there's lots of things that have been kind of on the shelf for me that haven't made it into my official system, but they work well running in tandem with whatever your full-time system is. This is something that can be automated. This is something that you can use for LTFs. And I'm working on fleshing out those LTF strategies for those who want to be more active traders in the group. And that's still going to take some time to finish. There's still a lot of testing to do, but I've been doing hours and hours and hours a day of the initial testing. This is pretty much what I do with my time lately, is test and mentor and work and teach. And I'm pretty excited about that. So kind of had a late start to my day because I was up late, unfortunately, working on that. And I've been doing that a little bit. So needed a little bit of a biological reset. Okay. Where were we? Intraday breath and speech. Okay, so getting back to Bitcoin. Let's see here. So let's look at Minx. Minx is pointed down. Minx is below the zero line, indicating that bullish momentum. Obviously gave us the signal to go short on this candle. Fisher Transform is confirming that. In fact, Fisher Transform gave us the sell signal on this candle, which I really like. These settings on the Fisher Transform, you'll notice that for whatever reason, they often tend to get you in. They often tend to give you a signal, and of course, it's going to be counter trend because we're above the baseline. But they often tend to give you an entry signal, like to go short on a day when it's an up candle, which is quite nice because it's giving you quite a good entry. So anyways, I don't think it's an opportunity to hop into a long. The wicks to the downside are interesting, but nothing here on the daily is telling us to exit. We still have bearish momentum. Now, of course, bearish momentum is waning that we've seen over the last few days, but we're still trading with bearish momentum above the dead zone and above the explosion level, which makes those valid longs, which makes those valid shorts. Let's move down to the 12-hour time frame and see what the 12-hour time frame is telling us. Now, the 12-hour time frame is interesting. We are still below the 12-hour baseline, but if we were taking the 12-hour position, of course, we were out with this in profit. But we are printing. We have a rising explosion level. We are printing a Wada column beneath a rising explosion level, indicating that the momentum has died off, even though the Bollinger Bands are separating, indicating expansion of the market after a period of consolidation or market contraction. That this is a time to be exiting your 12-hour position. Similarly, we have the 12-hour Fisher Transform crossing to the upside, and we do have Minx crossing up into the static zone on this 12-hour candle, which is also an exit indicator. So what we are looking for right now, though, is we have to realize this. We're going to have the Fisher Transform that's going to be curling up. We are coming up into the vicinity of the 12-hour baseline. The 12-hour baseline the baseline on the 12-hour chart is coming in at 10,702, making that your 12-hour area of re-entry. That would be congruent with the Fisher topping below zero. It's also going to be congruent with the Minx topping below zero. If you guys are unfamiliar with what that means, we've got a premium webinar about that, Fisher Transform and the wave theory, which really goes into some of these more complicated topics. I have Alex, who's a great Fisher Transform trader. with me in that video explaining that. So all the premium members, you guys have access to that video. Make sure to go check that out in the premium webinar section of the database. Going down to the 4-hour time frame. The 4-hour time frame did give us a valid long on this candle. As we can see, the momentum has shifted to the bulls on the 4-hour time frame. We are breaking above the 4-hour baseline. Fisher Transform confirmed that. In fact, Fisher Transform gave us an entry over here, the counter trend entry over here, after that 4-hour hammer candle and then bullish expansion. And here we can see the shakeout 4-hour candle right here, and then three nice white soldiers candlestick pattern, where we have 3 consecutive bullish appreciation candles. So I do think, as I said, I think we do have the 4-hour signal to be able to take price to the upside if that was something that you were looking for. Remember, this is going to be anywhere from a 24-hour trade or a 16-hour trade, depending on what rule set that you are applying. But I don't really see it going much past that. But again, that option is on the table for the LTF timeframe traders. Going down to the 2-hour time frame, which is something we've been focusing a little bit more on right here, we can see that we did get a bad signal. Let's see, we got the signal here, and then we have 1, 2, 3. So we would have been potentially taking this at quarter risk. That trade would have been a losing trade, most likely hitting the stop loss. But then we do get, let's see here, we're looking for entry here on this candle. We do get a nice 2-hour setup here. We actually have a fully confirmed signal from Wada Atari Explosion as well to take price to the upside. We don't have Fisher confirming. So if the Fisher was your confirmation indicator, then that's not really working out for you right now. But we do have this. We can see this consolidation pattern, this W pattern at the bottom of this downside. We are seeing a little bit of intraday breakout with this 2-hour candle close. We've got about 33 minutes for this candle to close, which, you know, I really do think if you're going to be entering now, because now you're entering about 1% beyond your optimum entry from where the signal was generated right here, because obviously this candle sold back down a little bit, giving you a little bit better of an entry. And now you're up about 1% off of that. Not a bad intraday trade, but really not what we're looking for on the 2-hour, depending on what's ATR percentage right here. Daily ATR percentage is going to be 2.33. So we're looking for a 2.33 trade, obviously, on the 2-hour time frame. So you're about halfway there had you taken that 2-hour trade to the upside. And again, I know some guys in the group did do that, so best of luck to them. But again, not something that I've established for myself. Okay. Okay. So in summary, on the daily time frame, looking for entry around 10,850. On the 12-hour time frame, looking for entry around 10,700. On the 4-hour time frame, there is a momentum trade to the upside, and on the 2-hour time frame, there is a momentum trade to the upside. Let's look at those targets. And on the 2-hour time frame, we would be looking at 10,650, 10,898, and 11,146. So that, I like that TP2. That brings us right up into that vicinity of the daily baseline, the area for the re-entry short. And then again, I like that area on the TP1 because that puts us up right in that entry of the 12-hour entry for the reversal short. Philip Carr, thanks so much for the quid, my brother. Thank you so much for the $1.99 British pounds, my good friend. He says, fine, for being a village idiot. Yeah. Totally good, man. Totally good. Thank you so much, my good friend. Hopefully you're doing absolutely fantastic over there in beautiful Manchester, man. Okay, and then on the 4-hour time frame, we're gonna have a little bit more. We're gonna have a little bit better signals. In fact, not too crazy. In fact, a lower signal than our 2 hours. So 10,500, or excuse me, right here, 10,710, 11,018, and 11,327. So still not enough to crack us up into that $11,000 area. I'm a little less. I would be a little less confident in these 4 hours targets to the upside. That 10,710 would be okay in my opinion. That's going to be congealing very nicely with that 12-hour entry for the reversal short. And then on the daily time frame, that's also going to be a little bit lower than that. But again, getting in that vicinity of 10,700, 10,800 would be good in my opinion. So that's what I'm looking at right now. That's actually my personal plan, is to wait for that retreat if we do see that nice bounce up into the 10,700 area, or to look on these 2 hour, actually the 4 hour for me, to look for the 4 hour time frame to signal that this breakout has failed, that this was just an impulsive buyback, looking for price to break back down below the baseline on the 4 hour time frame, and looking for that re-entry signal with WADA and Fisher and Minx turning again in my favor, and then potentially looking to scale back into a position to the downside, basically looking to take that breakdown trade a little preemptively. So that's what's on the details for me. Okay. Let's get over into Ethereum. Ethereum has not moved yet. Ethereum, very low momentum. Let's go to the daily, sorry. Ethereum has not moved yet. Still consolidating very weakly against the bottoms. All the momentum going into Bitcoin. There's a school of thought in trading that you look to buy weakness, that you look to take the asset in a sector that hasn't moved yet when you see its sister assets moving. I actually believe the exact opposite of that. In any asset class, you want to be short the weakest asset and long the strongest asset. So for example, when it comes to cryptocurrency, long Bitcoin, short Ripple pretty much all day, and you're going to be just fine. In most market conditions. For me, it's a little switched right now. On the daily time frame for Ethereum, we still have bearish momentum and volatility coming in from WADA, trading above the explosion level, trading above the dead zone, letting us know that shorts are still valid. We have Fisher transformed below the trigger line. We have Minx below the trigger line as well. Now, something interesting to note, and again, this doesn't really play too much into our analysis, but both Minx and Fisher are in the oversold territory. And again, even still, this is not really something that takes into account in my trading, but some people are going to look at this and look at that aspect of the fact that we are in the oversold area. We can see Minx, which is more sensitive than Fisher, curling up on this candle. Again, you don't want to be jumping into premature or pre-responsive movements in your indicators. You want to wait for confirmation. There are very clear rules about what happens with these indicators to signal trades. That's about it on that. So anyways, shorts are still valid. Going to the 12-hour time frame. 12-hour time frame has not told us to exit anything. We still have WADA, negative momentum above the explosion level, above the dead zone. Fisher still below the trigger, and Minx still below the noise level. So nothing positive coming in on the 12-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see this overall, again, same W pattern consolidation. So the movement, but we don't have any positive momentum. There's not enough volume and momentum to justify a trade, even on the 4-hour time frame. And of course, everything is still bearish. If we scroll back, Fisher transformed did give us a long entry over here. That was a losing trade. That's why Fisher is not our confirmer. But it's just nice to point out sometimes the good signals that it does give us counter trend. So again, maybe another one of those jabs that you guys might be throwing. But again, nothing here as far as a confirmed signal. And what we would be looking for if we wanted to take that 4-hour trade to the upside would be a breakage above the baseline, would be WADA implementing volume and indicating that there's momentum to take to the upside, that there's enough gas in the tank, and obviously looking for Minx to give us a primary signal to take the trade up. Now, the 2-hour time frame also, interestingly enough, giving us a signal on the previous 2-hour close, as you can see. And we haven't really moved very much. In fact, you're going to be in micro drawdown from that, down 0.13%. So not even 0.5%, not even 1/4%. But we did have a second retest. Actually, one could say a third retest, because you have this level. You have support right here. You have consolidation, breakdown below, retest of resistance, higher low, and retest of resistance, right? So we could potentially be seeing that movement now. We are about to have Fisher cross up and confirm as well. We do have bullish momentum coming in from WADA Atar explosion, and Minx did cross and close to the upside with WADA confirming. So there is a trade here. There is a 2-hour momentum trade to the upside, and in fact, you can still enter, but I'd be very hesitant. Half risk on this, most likely quarter risk on this, and then again, if we see price start to move in our favor, then we can scale in a little bit more significantly. But I'd be very hesitant on taking this Ethereum trade to the upside. Now, let's see here. Let's go to, let's check in on our trading team. And we've got I want to give a big shout out to DecipherX, Mr. Hut QC, and whoever I'm going to assume this Celsius is, really doing well on the trading competition, guys. You know, DecipherX, one of the traders in our group, up almost 42%. Mr. Hut QC up 25%, 13.61%. The rest of us doing pretty well. Some of these guys didn't qualify. Of course, they did not make the required minimum deposit, so their results are not being taken in. And I've noticed that with a lot of the traders. Excuse me, I've noticed that with a lot of the teams. So we are in 17th place. We've got an average profitability of 11.36%, so doing pretty well. That's 2 days of the competition, so very happy with that. So let's go over to EOS and look and see if we can boost our profits up a little bit more. Starting off on the daily, again, we don't really have anything here. This looks quite like the Ethereum chart. Everything is still valid for a short signal on the daily time frame. On the 12-hour time frame, everything is still valid for a short signal as well. No bullishness here. On the 4-hour time frame, we are again seeing that W patterning consolidation that we just saw in Bitcoin, seeing Bitcoin break up, and seeing that we just saw in Ethereum, where Ethereum has not yet made its move. Again, same with Ethereum. The bullish momentum is extremely low here on the 4-hour time frame, not confirming any trade. Minx is not confirming a trade either, with being below the zero line. And Fisher did cross up and close over on this candle, where we would be in a little bit of profit right now, actually. So let's go another 2-hour and see if we can get anything interesting and exciting intraday. We are actually getting a confirmed long signal for the 2-hour time frame right here, confirmed by WADA. Fisher is yet to cross up, so maybe potentially going to be waiting on that. Maybe you need another candle close for that, but there is a valid 2-hour long on EOS right now. Let's look at some potential targets to the upside. Obviously looking at 369, 376, and 384, with a stop loss at 349. I'd say 450, because that's 349.6, so let's just say 350. Looking at 350, and obviously your risk reward ratio is quite low, because if you do end up closing below that 2-hour baseline, it was a small loss. And again, just throwing that jab, and throwing that jab. Kyle Mitchell, I didn't see. My man, thank you so much for the quid, Kyle Mitchell, dude. Just real, recognize real, buddy. You're doing a fantastic job, man. Carrying the team. Thanks, brother. Okay, let's go to ZERP. ZERP and perp. Sipping on that ZERP burp. Let's go to the daily time frame. And again, looks quite like EOS, looks quite like Ethereum. Everything's still valid for a short. No reason to be exiting the positions. 12-hour time frame, again, and actually I wanted to make that comment. We did take that short on ZERP in this range, and actually when we were supposed to take the daily short, and everything working out quite well. Hit all of our take profit targets on that nice long wick to the downside. So out of that, check the trading volume chart. This one right here. Or is there another chart? Adam says, hey man, love what you do. Thank you very much, man. I've started using the Fisher transform because of you, and it's been helping me out a lot. Great, I love the Fisher transform. What are the other indicators that you use? Is it WADA? It's WADA Atar explosion. There's some Arabic terms. The individual who originally wrote the WADA Atar explosion indicator was Arabic. Yeah, you can use if you go to tv.crackingcryptocurrency.com. And go over to scripts. You can see the indicators that are in my trading system. We've got, you can use CC for your baseline. I now have a different baseline indicator. CC Fisher transform, I use QPS and Quadrigo ATR for stop and target. WADA Atar explosion is going to be my momentum indicator, my volatility indicator, my volume indicator, and then Minx, which is my primary entry indicator. And those are all, as well as time transformation. You can use Ichimoku as well. And in fact, I would recommend that individuals that are newer to trading definitely start off with using Ichimoku. It's a fantastic system, has a lot of rules, and it's just one of the best overall strategies out there, man. On the main page of the competition. Look at this man right here. Look at this man. Number 3 in trading volume, man. Awesome, brother. So good to see, man. So good to see. You're the man, bro. Also, have a look at the number 1 team. Their number 1 member has 250%, but a lot has been liquidated. Notice the CC group has a lot less losses. Yes. In fact, the only person, and again, I think it's a mistake that ByBit is fixing unless they set up the order wrong. One of the guys, actually the only person on there with a significant loss was because a stop loss didn't trigger. And again, we're trying to figure out if that's the way that he set up the trade or if it was an error. I'm actually inclined to think that it's, you know, some error in how the trade was set up, but we're getting it fixed. Let's see here. Yeah, so daily time frame, ZERP looks pretty negative. 12-hour time frame still looks very negative. So again, this is basically the EOS analysis that I did. 4-hour time frame, I mean, these all look exactly the same. Same thing. You can see a little bit more of a drawn out pattern here. And of course, there is a confirmed, actually, no, we are going to be closing below the baseline, it seems, on this current 2-hour time frame. So there's no long to be had here on ZERP, but definitely something to keep your eye on. Have I had any success with ADX? You know, I'm just not a big fan of ADX. You know, I tried it. So many people that I know like it and utilize it, and it's just never worked for me, you know, and I've tried it, you know, a bunch of different ways. I've tested thousands of indicators, thousands of different ways, and ADX is just not something that ever made it into my system. It was either too fast or too slow, or not, it just didn't fit in with the other indicators that I found to be really good. Because again, you have to understand that the way I analyze indicators is I need to be able to get a very clear if this then that signal from the indicator. I don't look at indicators well, okay, so when we can see this indicator doing this, it often means that this is happening, and then if we see that in confluence with these others, any kind of statement that starts off like that is pretty antithetical to what I want out of an indicator. I don't want to have to interpret an indicator because that leaves too much open for subjectivity. And most people run through life using indicators, wondering, well, okay, I've been taught that it works this way, but I have this idea, and then they start using it that way, and then they question like, oh, am I using it right? Did I read it right that time? All of that stuff is very damaging to a profitable trading strategy. You want, and what I do is you look for indicators that you can get a very, very clear signal from. So, for example, like when this line crosses this line, I'm going to buy. That's it. Not, well, it's like overbought and oversold, and let's look at the momentum, and then also maybe minks. No, it either has crossed the line or it hasn't. Objective, simple, easy to test, easy to replicate, easy to backtest, easy to add other indicators that also give very clear indications. And ADX is one of those indicators that everybody wants to use it subjectively. Like, well, okay, so price is consolidating because it's below 25. So we're going to look at these other indicators to determine whether we should buy. I don't think that that's good. I don't think that works. Too much subjectivity. But again, there's lots of components to the directional movement index and the average directional. So potentially, absolutely, could it get into a good trading strategy? Yes, it could. It's just never made it into mine. Guaranteed for life. Keeps hot for 6 hours and cold for 18. Still cold from last night. All right, good. Let's see here. What else do we got to look at? I think we'll skip Litecoin and BNB. I really don't think there's a lot to talk about. I just kind of want to focus on the big ByBit pairs today. All right, so it's 12:43. We've got a whole lot to talk about, guys. Let's break into, we'll come back to Forex after the news. So let's get into the news because I think there's a whole lot to talk about, guys. So we're going to flip over to the news with Today in Bitcoin. So, American cryptocurrency traders beware. So a Bloomberg report published yesterday confirms that information provided to the IRS about U.S. cryptocurrency investors did in fact come from Coinbase, which was ordered to provide the tax agency information on those who purchased more than $20,000 in digital currency on their platform. Now, certain investors are currently receiving a second batch of letters from the IRS. These are in addition to the first mailings that the IRS began sending in late July to over 10,000 American citizens, warning that they may owe taxes or more taxes on their trades. Now, this latest batch of letters are said to be of an even stricter language than the first, informing the recipients of these letters that their tax filings do not match the information provided to them by Coinbase. Of course, they don't come directly out and say Coinbase, they say employers or third-party financial institutions. Now, unlike its former batch of letters, the IRS did not formally announce its mailings of the latest letters. Instead, they threw up a page on their website about what the letters mean and what to do about them, as we can see here. This is from the official irs.gov website, Understanding Your CP 2000 Notice. Now, these notices are now going out automatically, according to an agency insider who asked to remain anonymous due to agency rules. Whenever the agency detects a mismatch between your self-reported trading losses and profit and what third parties, i.e. Coinbase, is reporting to the IRS through forms known as the 1099-B as opposed to the 1099-A earlier. Now, these letters are unusual because they are targeting a specific class of investors, which is honestly something that the IRS does not typically do. They are specifically targeting cryptocurrency investors. Now, previously, the first batch of letters from the IRS, those letters were basically saying, if I could summarize them, hey man, be careful, bud, pay us our money. Now, however, the letters are basically saying, okay, man, we have the research, you need to come clean. So, it's very similar to being interrogated by a pushy police officer if you're like a murder suspect. Like at first, the police officer comes in the room, the detective comes in the room, he's like, hey man, I'm here to help you. Are you doing okay? Would you like a candy bar or a bottled water? Okay, man, great. Remember, I'm your friend. Now, tell me about how you killed Jessica. So that's basically what the IRS was doing in the first place. They're like, hey, we're your buddy, we're your friend, but we think you owe us some money. Why don't you just pay us the money? Just pay us the money. Now, the IRS is ramping up a bit, and it's more like the police officer's like, look, man, do you see this hair in this baggie? Yeah, it's your DNA, and we lifted it off Jessica's dead body. Now confess, or I'm going to throw you through that double-sided window. That's basically what the IRS is doing now. Like, we know that you are cheating on your taxes. We have the records, we have the information, and you need to pay up. And as it stands at the moment, we don't really have any clear guidance still from the IRS on how to properly document our trading profits and what taxes are likely to be owed on them. Accountants are still largely scratching their head and guessing at a lot of the correct compliance. But as I've always said, if you are a profitable trader, get yourself a CPA who understands and is familiar with cryptocurrency to assist you in filing your taxes, or at least your taxes as they relate to your trading related profits. You do not want to get on the bad side of the IRS. Now, although I do believe that taxation is theft as an ANCAP, I still do not recommend that you do not pay taxes. I don't recommend that you not pay taxes as a form of resistance. It is only going to get you into trouble. I have met so many idealistic, bright-eyed young men and women who said, you know what, taxation is theft. They rattle off the whole libertarian, mantra to me, which again, I'm right there with you guys, but they rattle it off to me, and their conclusion is, therefore, I'm not going to pay my taxes. And guess what? Not one of those individuals has ever had that work out well for them, right? So you cannot change the world locked inside a prison cell or destitute very efficiently, all right? So I do not recommend that you do that because that is stupid. However, this whole fiasco has raised the point that Coinbase can be pushed around. So what exchanges are next, you may ask? What exchanges are next to cave into the IRS and reveal their users' personal information? Honestly, the answer to that is going to be every single cryptocurrency exchange that is licensed or allowed to operate in the United States. The more institutionalized our trading platforms become, the more professional our space becomes, the more this is going to happen. Every Forex broker in America reports your financial information to the IRS. And now, so will cryptocurrency exchanges. So crypto users beware. Institutional reporting is most likely going to be the new norm. Hey, what's going on, Joe G? I should put the T-Rex head on when doing the news. I'm happy you guys appreciate that. I'm trying to think of like some fun stuff that we can do with that. You know, I was thinking like, you know, maybe every time somebody tips or does a super chat, you know, like I toss a Bitcoin in there, you know. Nom nom nom. Anyways. Have no fear. Institutions are here, my good friends. So in recent years, the promise of institutional investment has been touted as the next wave maker in the space. And the Moon Boys, love you guys, have been ready to surf toward fortune. However, last year, despite all the miraculous assertions made in the space, I believe that those institutions are coming was largely a coping mechanism for a psychologically damaging bear market as Bitcoin descended off of its all-time highs. However, this year, things are different. According to a tweet by Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong, Mr. Brian Armstrong, he of the shaved heads. The San Francisco-based digital asset exchange is seeing $200 to $400 million a week in deposit inflows. Now, Bitcoin, for most of its history, has been a retail market, still is a retail market, right? It's inherently grassroots, no government or company is behind the project, it's been developed in a decentralized global manner, and it's an unconfiscatable currency for the oppressed or for dissidents. So when we realize that Coinbase receives retail deposits of $30 to $60 million in Bitcoin inflows every single day, Armstrong's statistics of 200 to 400 million has to be in reference to their custodial project for institutions. Now, as we can see over here, we go to tokenanalyst.io and we can review exchange inflows and outflows. I actually know individuals that trade strategies based around this same method or use this as a fundamental indicator. Remember, if there is more Bitcoin coming onto exchanges than leaving exchanges, that Bitcoin's not going on there to get bought. It's already been bought. It's going on there to get sold. And as we can see over here, interestingly enough, we still continue to see the slow bleed out of funds from BitMEX with 27 million in 24-hour outflows in Bitcoin and only 13 million in inflows. Now, most likely that's profit. A lot of people are leveraged to the gills over there and pulling out daily profit, but I digress. Now, getting back over to this. Now, this isn't the only sign of looming institutionalization. When we combine the IRS involvement, global geopolitical uncertainty, and an overheated stock market in the process of a massive correction, the anticipated launch of BAKKT in the coming months, yes, I know, but we've got information on that coming up next. We're almost there. This is all proof and evidence that institutions aren't coming, they're here. So the question is, have these institutions been filling their bags since early 2019 or even earlier? I think yes. And I think that things are going to be changing, as I've said for a while, dramatically in the space over the coming years. One little kind of humor piece here before we move into the story of the day. Coming from the BBC. You know, one would think that being a journalist, writing about the world of tech and finance would qualify you as IT competent or at least familiar with basic OPSEC practices when it comes to cryptocurrency. Apparently, this isn't the case for one BBC tech writer, Monty Munford, he of the nice beard. You see, Munford made the mistake of securing $30,000 worth of Ethereum, and he stored the private keys in an email, saved as a draft, in his Gmail inbox. The IT blunder didn't just end there. Munford's email was compromised at an unknown time by unknown means, another sure sign of computational incompetence. The result being his Ethereum balance has been completely wiped out, possibly months before he even noticed. In the BBC News article right here that I'm referencing, Munford was recounting his fiasco by lamenting how the industry is fraught with peril and lacks any kind of consumer protection, which is basically just, wow, I didn't bother to read or watch one video explaining that, hey, don't secure your private keys online, generate your private keys offline. Literally, just when we talk about creating exchange accounts, as I've said many times, how to properly do that. I've got a video for the members about how to properly secure exchange accounts. You got to set up your cryptocurrency right. If you're going to hold something in cold storage, if you're buying cryptocurrency as an investment, here's what you do. Go online. and you buy one of these. Boom, bam, done. Right? Ledger Nano X. Never worry about it again. Okay. You know, but this whole matter, you know, kind of highlights how cryptocurrency is not idiot-proof, and that the BBC is apparently not sending their best into the field to report. So, good job, BBC. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Hooray! Guys, a big shout out for Magical Internet Money. Ventriloquism. So BAKKT can finally launch Bitcoin futures, guys. So I'm going to go over here to the Medium article. And I don't really have a whole lot to say about this. I just wanted to talk about this. So we had already talked about this quite in depth a while ago about how BAKKT was all cleared because they did the self-licensing from the CFTC. So they already had the green light from the CFTC. That's just one little thing I wanted to kind of clear up. People are saying that the CFTC green-lighted BAKKT, and that's why we're finally able to launch. That's actually really not the case because the CFTC had already given the green light to BAKKT. What was holding them back was the custodial license from the New York Department of Financial Services. It was the NYDFS. And they got that, it seems to me, yesterday. So they did get approved for that. They are going to be launching physically delivered Bitcoin futures on September 23rd. They had previously already launched and started compliance testing, so basically stress testing their platform, which they've been doing, I'm sure, quite a lot. But September 23rd is the date when BAKKT will launch custody and physically delivered daily and monthly Bitcoin futures contracts, obviously in participation and sponsored by the Intercontinental Exchange Futures and Intercontinental Exchange Clearinghouse. So this is going to be real deal Evander Holyfield, just like the CME, but unlike the CME, not cash settled, which is used to manipulate markets. This is going to be physically delivered for institutional traders, for institutional investors. Now, you're going to have a pretty big wallet to be reasonably trading over there on BAKKT. This is going to be for higher net worth individuals who are wanting to trade. But this is good. And I do think that just as most individuals look at the CME as the actual true spot value of Bitcoin, I think that will now become the BAKKT. So it's most likely that we're going to be referencing the BAKKT chart for when we're looking at what the actual value of Bitcoin is. I think this is good. I think this is good for price discovery. And I think that regardless of what happens after this, I think this is going to be good. And I think this is helpful for the market. Now, not a whole lot really here to talk about. Nothing new. I mean, we've already really beaten this dead horse to death. No, I would not like to watch your crappy free webinar where you try to sell me something at the end. But you just need to get excited, bro. Do you want to make more money? Welcome to the free webinar. Do you want to make more money today? Raise your hand if you want to make money. Yes, of course I want to make money. You there in the corner, why aren't you raising your hand? You better raise that hand up. Do you not want to make money? Are you trying to bring the whole crowd down? Are you trying to bring everybody in this webinar down by not raising your hand? All right, guys, let's get pumped up. I'm going to teach you how to have more success than you've ever had. I'm going to teach you how to grow your business into an $8 billion business in 8 months. Yes, it's just going to take this course. It's going to be $9,999, but it's worth it if you want success. Sorry, that's been my experience with every come to my free webinar. I'm going to teach you stuff. Buy my shit. Sorry. All right. Let's go over to cryptobriefing.com. Go away. Yeah, so according to their official blog post today, the New York Department of Financial Services did approve BAKKT's custodial solution, which is going to be called BAKKT Warehouse, and they are now certified to be a legal, licensed custodian of digital assets. Now, obviously, BAKKT has been postponed for more than a year, so this has been a long time coming. This is like that big daddy BAKKT that everybody's kind of been looking for. Now, do I think this is having a positive effect on price right now? Most likely. But do I think this is going to reverse the short-term trend? No, I really don't. Could, but I'll trade with my indicators, which are designed to be newsproof. All right. So that's about all we got today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for this little foray into cryptocurrency news. So let's get back into the charts. All right, guys. Now, this is the time. If you have any questions, if you got chart requests, if you would like me to talk about something or do some more of those funny impersonations of live webinars, let's do it. Let's scroll up here in the chat a little bit. One Fly VW says, it has increased my percent profitability by 5 to 10% on Bitcoin daily using ADX going above 20 as an entry condition. Interesting. That's good, man. That's good. Maybe I'll have to go back and revisit it. My friend, you are a very systemic thinker. Thank you. I try to. If it tests well, it's worth trying. If it doesn't, we're just finding ever more imaginative ways to lose money. If the institutions are coming but are already here, does that mean we're going down? I think in the short term, yes. Roy Coin says, Justin, if I become a premium member, will I get all the indicators on TradingView included, or is there some hierarchy for members who are yearly and lifetime? So obviously, so you get access to all the indicators on TradingView, from the lowest tier of subscription to the highest tier of subscription. There are added benefits the higher tier that you go. You get better customer service, you get more one-on-one time with me, a little bit more mentoring. Because that's generally what those people want. But you get access to all the indicators. You get access to the Premium Start Pack. You get access to the Premium Plus folder if you're Premium Plus and above, which is Pathways to Profit. All our premium webinar series, our database, our educational content. From the bottom up, you get access to our trade signals and setups, access to all our analysts, access to our private Discord community where you can get mentored and work with all the other guys on your strategy, get advice and get mentoring from our analysts and traders as well. So, did I get to meet Nelson Mandela? No, I didn't. The Mandela effect did not take me far enough back in time. Cue the dump when BAKKT goes live. Brian Armstrong and BAKKT tweets today sound like desperate attempts to prop up the Bitcoin price for their institutional friends to dump their bags on people's heads, a sell the news event. Indeed. Can US peeps use ByBit with no VPN? No, you're gonna have to use a VPN. And again, that's pretty requested. So I've got some activities that I got to do this weekend, but maybe I can find time to shoot the video on Sunday, to shoot a video about how to create a ByBit account and how to access ByBit utilizing a VPN. I want to be a little careful about doing that video, but again, there's nothing bad about using a VPN because I use a VPN for everything, and it's just going to be what it's going to be. I just want to provide the information to people. It's going to be your responsibility on how you use that information. Do I think BAKKT will add enough liquidity for institutions to actually make some moves? Yes, I do think they will. I don't think the liquidity is going to be a problem for BAKKT. I think that they have deals with OTC brokers. I think that the market makers who they have contracted have enough BTC to make the market. And I think that market's going to be quite liquid and quite impressive. Micro EOS, huh? Re-entry on the hourly right now to the upside for Micro EOS. Let's go down to the 30. Same thing. I think that there's a short-term trade to the upside. Momentum looks pretty good. I'd wait a little bit. Wait maybe 30 minutes to an hour for entry, though. Let's just kind of wait and see, watching the 15. Laurent says, I've been trying to pay you for the premium membership since Tuesday, but you're not accepting my PayPal payment. Crypto Jack has been looking into for me. I wanted to start soaking up in for tonight. Yeah, that's the first I've heard of that, man. Send me a DM in the Discord. We'll get you all sorted out, man. That shouldn't be an issue. I'm definitely not clicking a deny payment from Laurent. Kendi says, yes, please make the VPN video idiot proof for people like me. Just got NordVPN last night. Yeah, it'll be, it's simple. You just, you're going to connect to a different country. Germany's pretty good. And that's it. Just connect your VPN to a different country. But, you know, obviously there's better OPSEC things. So there's full things that I do. So for example, you know, Tor is a good thing. You can also access ByBit via Tor. You can just, you know, boot up Tor. You can download Tor. You can use Tor. You know, I use a separate browser. I use a separate computer that doesn't have any other personal information on it. That way I don't have to worry about my VPN getting kicked off. You know, there's also a browser extension that you can plug in called WebRTC Network Limiter, which makes sure that you don't leak IP through things like JPEG files or anything like that. Not really necessary, but it's just another level of protection. But yeah, it's just a checklist. Like, go to your computer, VPN on, WebRTC limiter on, browser up that you only use for this purpose, and you go. But, you know, even that's being a little, that's if you want to do things right from the get-go. The main things for me are creating your account with a new email, creating a new email account, not using your personal email account, although that's not, you can, but that's just, that's a security issue, not so much a ByBit issue. But it really is just as simple as connecting to a different country and going to the website. But there's other ways to be more proper about it. So for example, you can utilize Tor. VPNs aren't really necessary if you utilize Tor. Or you use a separate, at least a separate browser profile, right? I recommend Brave. That's about it, guys. It's 1:06. I think it's about time to get on cracking, guys. It's Friday. It's Friday. So enjoy the weekend, guys. I've got a lot coming up this weekend. It's going to be a good weekend. As always, moving into the weekend, make sure to secure your positions. You know, the weekends for the last month or so, actually the last 2 months, have been pretty quiet as opposed to the way the weekends were for a few months there, where the weekends were where all the activity was. It hasn't been that way. So based on that, I think we've got a pretty good shot at having a quiet weekend. So I think that, but keep in mind, weekends are often more bullish than bearish, but often there's a lot of whipsaw because low volume, high volatility. So, you know, protect your positions, be very generous with your profit taking, you know, always, you know, I on weekends, if I'm trading, I'm always like, lock that profit in, because I'm not sure I'm trading the direction of the dominant trend, because weekends are often very unclear. So protect yourself, be safe, trade safely, manage risk. Money management is the key to success, guys. Make sure to check out the Discord, discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Let's slide over here. Seemed a little blurry for some reason. Make sure to join the Discord, guys, at discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com so you can stay up to date with what we're doing over the weekend and communicate with us. Otherwise, make sure to support the show, guys. Thumbs up button down there. Leave a comment after the end of the show. Give us a subscribe if you haven't already. And, of course, the bell. I almost never say the bell, but the bell does help, right? Now, thank you guys for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. If you guys want to check out the podcast, make sure to go to breakingbitcoin.money so that you can catch the show at your convenience on your favorite podcast catcher of choice. And if you would like to sharpen your skills as a trader, whether you're new or experienced, we can teach you to trade from the ground up, or we can teach you to improve what you're doing if you've been trading for a while. You can find all that information at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Link in the description down below. But whatever you do, make sure to trade safely, guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, please leave them in the comment section down below, and I will try to respond to you within the next 48 hours. I've been Justin Wise, guys, for crackingcryptocurrency.com. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with me. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I will see you guys here back on Monday. Be safe, trade safely, and peace out.